I am Faith Sebuliba. I'm presenting from Nansing area. My study is about attitude of student nurses towards adherence to standard precautions in the clinical area at a large teaching hospital in Uganda. Standard precautions or guidelines are a cornerstone of effective measures of infection control and management by WHO and CDC. Standard precautions are used to reduce healthcare-associated infections among healthcare workers and patients. However, studies show healthcare workers, especially students, do not always adhere to them. The health belief model was used to assess attitudes of student nurses and midwives towards adhering to the standard precautions. More positive attitudes were demonstrated in the constructs of perceived benefits, self-efficacy, and perceived barriers. Attitudes towards adherence to standard precautions was lower than expected. A gap was revealed that may lead to non-adherence to standard precautions and a continued predisposition to nosocomial infections in the hospital settings. This has implications for nurse educators, administrators, and practitioners to promote nurses' attitudes towards adherence to standard precautions. Standard precautions are standardized procedures that reduce the risk of exposure to recognized and unrecognized sources of infection in the hospital. They are demonstrated as effective in reducing healthcare-associated infections among patients and healthcare workers. Adherence to standard precautions is a fundamental behavior that is expected of all healthcare workers. And the standard precautions, they comprise of measures to guide hand hygiene, use of protective gear, prevention of needle stick injuries, environmental control, prevention of injury from sharp devices, and patient placement. Nurses in the clinical area provide direct patient care, and in the process they engage in risky practices that promote the spread of nosocomial infections. They carry out procedures such as clearing surgical equipment, handling soiled surgical dressings, replacing or removing cannulas, rinsing soiled linen, and collecting specimens that are body tissues, fluids, or blood. Without any form of protection, the tools nurses use may injure, exposing them to blood and body fluids which may contain infectious organisms such as HIV and hepatitis B. Studies show about 1 in 8 healthcare workers receive a needle stick injury. American healthcare workers suffer about 800,000 to 1 million needle stick injuries annually, not including the vast numbers that go unreported. There were more than 10,000 needle stick injuries annually in the United Kingdom, and in developing countries, such injuries are not adequately documented, but it probably equals or exceeds that in the industrial world. Despite the presence of the guidelines in the hospitals and the health units, nurses, especially students, do not always adhere to them. Several studies have been carried out and described adherence as inconsistent or inadequate, suboptimal, rare, low, or unsatisfactory. The purpose of the study was to assess the attitude of student nurses towards adhering to standard precautions during placement in the clinical area. The knowledge gained would be used to design strategies to improve adherence to standard precautions and to promote safety of healthcare workers, their families, and their friends. The constructs pertaining to the health belief model were used to describe what attitudes influenced adherence. The health belief model has three major areas that it addresses. These include the individual characteristics, such as the perceived susceptibility, which happen to be the chances of acquiring the disease, and the perceived severity, which is seriousness and consequences of the condition. The next area is likelihood of action. This includes perceived benefits or the values of participating in the health behavior, and the perceived barriers that are factors that constrain that commitment of adhering. It also includes the modifying factors, which include the individual demographics such as the age, the sex, the race, the ethnicity, and the kind of knowledge, and the cues to action, which are triggers or factors that might hasten the action. The study was carried out at a nursing school that is attached to a large teaching hospital in the country that models various health projects that include infection control. The design was quantitative, cross-sectional, and non-experimental. 53 third-year students were selected by convenient sampling method, and they filled in a 30-minute self-administered questionnaire that was adopted with permission from a previous study. The tool comprised of two sections: the demographic data that established information about the respondents, the attitude section that contains statements organized by the constructs of the health belief model. The results: there were only 53 nursing students, making up the 94.6% response rate. Their age ranged between 25 and 50. The majority were female, and majority were working in they were midwives and working in the maternity and labor units. 60% of them had been in the unit for at least 1 to 4 weeks. That means they had just rotated in that area. Most students had prior working experience ranging between 2 to 27 years and an average of 8 years. The attitudes that were assessed were perceived severity, where most respondents perceived the severity of acquiring a hospital infection, and only a few did not perceive the severity of a patient dying from hospital-acquired infection and a patient obtaining a hospital-acquired infection. The attitude of perceived susceptibility: most respondents perceived susceptibility to acquiring a hospital infection. Only a few did not perceive themselves getting sick with a hospital-acquired infection all the time. Perceived benefit: most respondents perceived the benefit of adhering to the standard precautions, except a few who did not perceive the benefit of saving money in the healthcare facility. The statements in the perceived barrier subscale were awarded in reverse to reduce the response set among the respondents. The respondents who strongly disagreed with the statements demonstrated a positive attitude, and most did not agree with the statements within that subscale, revealing a positive attitude despite the barriers. Cues to actions: Most respondents agreed with the statements in the subscale. Only a few did not agree that a poster in the duty room and a reminder from a co-worker or infection control officer would help them remember to adhere to the standard precautions. And most respondents believed in their self-efficacy to involve in infection control measures. Only a few disagreed about their behavior, making a difference in a patient acquiring infection and the effectiveness of hand sanitizers to control the infection. The highest scorers, that is those who scored 100% per construct, were as follows. Perceived severity was 35.8%, perceived susceptibility 15.1%, perceived benefits 84.9%, cues to action 43.4%, and perceived barriers 62.3%. The overall score for the individual participant was categorized into two groups. The score of 80 and above was rated acceptable attitude, and the score of 79 and below was rated not acceptable. And 81.1% scored 80% and above. Since the sample comprised of nurses and midwives, an independent T-score was done to determine the mean difference in the nurses and midwives' attitudes, and showed that the midwives demonstrated a more acceptable attitude than the nurses. However, it was not statistically significant. There were limitations in the study, however. The small sample size, the timing of the study, the use of a self-report questionnaire, and the observation method that was not possible due to limited access. Students, however, demonstrated an acceptable attitude towards adherence to the standard precautions, and although most were positive, there still exists a gap in the adherence, and this gap may not necessarily be due to the attitudes, but some other factors that need to be studied. Thank you very much for listening to me. That is the end of the presentation.